Toni. I think everybody was shocked when we found out that these two actually got married. I know, like, there's a lot of things we will do in order to pay our bills, but I never thought the relationship between Toni and Birdman was genuine. I just knew that he was just willing to go broke behind her. It just never fit. And so apparently in August of last year in 2024, they had a secret wedding. Finally got married in secret, even though everything else was public. And then she went and tried to annul the marriage 2 weeks later because she realized she had stopped.
Toni Braxton, an icon of R&B elegance, secretly married hip-hop mogul Birdman. But what started as a love story turned into one of Hollywood's fastest breakups. Within just 2 weeks, Toni wanted out. The $1 million ring vanished, the wedding was erased, and whispers of betrayal began to spread. Was it love? Was it business? Or did Toni play the game better than anyone realized? Stay tuned, because this story isn't just about heartbreak, it's about power, money, and the ultimate comeback. I've got to admit, this might be one of the rare occasions where I completely side with Tasha K. Because honestly, this whole Toni Braxton and Birdman situation just doesn't add up. Think about it, Toni Braxton, an icon in her own right, supposedly marries Birdman, only to file for divorce a mere 2 days later? That's the kind of chaos Toni should be miles away from. And apparently, Birdman isn't exactly thrilled either. He's been dodging this marriage commitment for over 6 years, while Toni's been patiently waiting, playing her cards with quiet precision. But when the time finally came to make it official, she made sure the move worked in her favor, allegedly securing a serious payout from Birdman's estimated $160 million fortune. Talk about a twist he probably didn't see coming, especially given his history with Lil Wayne's money disputes. But what could have pushed Toni to end things so abruptly? Here's the thing, Toni Braxton and Birdman go way back, nearly 2 decades of what they've always called friendship. And let's be real, with that kind of history, it's hard to believe the connection was ever just platonic.
You know, me and him have been friends for 16 years.
I know, you had a song like 15 years ago,
yeah,
too,
we've
right?
been like besties for a long time.
People always say that. But
No, this is real. Like, no cross the line.
Besties, like, you always kept in touch and you always talked?
We would keep in touch. He would come see me when I had my plays. When I had my baby shower, he would come. Like, we were really friends.
Toni has always maintained that she and Birdman kept things strictly platonic until they officially started dating, insisting that no boundaries were ever crossed before then. Still, when news broke in 2016 that the two were romantically involved, it shocked everyone, especially since Birdman is notoriously private about his love life. Rumors even spread that they'd secretly eloped in 2017, though both denied it, claiming they were just hanging out and keeping things casual, much like a modern-day situationship. Their appearance together at an awards show, however, told a different story. When asked if it was their public, Birdman brushed it off, simply there to support Toni and didn't see what the big fuss was about. Yet, given how rare it is to see him in any public relationship, the sight of the two together felt like confirmation enough. Birdman later explained that he prefers to keep his personal life separate from his career, believing the two shouldn't interfere with each other. Around the same time, a mysterious blind item began circulating online about a once A-list singer from a well-known musical family who had ended a long-term relationship after financial struggles forced her to focus on supporting her family, ultimately choosing stability over love. Many believe the description fit Toni Braxton perfectly, especially considering she had filed for her second bankruptcy in 2010 after lupus complications forced her to cancel her Las Vegas residency. Toni Braxton has often opened up about the heavy responsibility she's carried for years, especially when it comes to supporting her family. She once admitted that her sisters expected her to handle the bills, and that constant pressure took a toll on her emotionally and physically. When she spoke about her relationship with Birdman, she described it as unexpectedly easy, a kind of comfort she hadn't felt before. Living with lupus, Toni explained, can be exhausting and isolating, but Birdman made her feel like it was okay not to be strong all the time. I've always struggled with dating because I was ashamed of my illness, she confessed. I thought no one would want to take care of a woman with lupus. Yet with Birdman, she found herself at ease, able to relax in her simplest state, just a hat and a little lipstick, without needing to put on a show. She recalled how in late 2016, during one of her worst lupus flare-ups while on tour, Birdman never left her side. Even before they were officially together, he followed her from city to city, making sure she was okay, checking in constantly with a gentle "you good, T?" His quiet presence during her weakest moments changed how she saw him, not just as a friend, but as someone who truly cared. And apparently, the feeling was mutual. Birdman eventually proposed, sealing his affection with a dazzling ring worth around $1 million. Toni shared a photo of the two of them soon after, her engagement ring practically stealing the spotlight. Birdman even gushed publicly, telling Wendy Williams, "That's my girl, my friend, my family." Birdman never shied away from expressing his feelings for Toni Braxton. In interviews, he spoke about her with a sincerity that surprised many, once calling her my love, my soldier, my life, my everything. It wasn't the kind of declaration you'd expect from a man known for his tough image and quiet composure, but that only made it more powerful. When he was teased about buying Toni a Bentley truck, he didn't even try to play it cool. With a faint smile and a shrug that spoke volumes, he admitted it was true. "Yes," he said simply, owning it. There was no hesitation, no denial, just a man comfortable showing the world that he was proud of the woman he loved. To anyone watching from the outside, their connection seemed genuine, deep, affectionate, and steady in a world where celebrity relationships tend to burn fast and fade faster. They weren't just two stars in love. They were two veterans of the entertainment industry who had weathered their own storms and found a kind of peace in each other. So naturally, people began to ask the question that lingered on everyone's mind. If they were so in love, why hadn't they tied the knot already? Toni had always spoken about love with grace and maturity, and when she finally opened up about her engagement to Birdman, she did so with an optimism that felt heartfelt. She revealed during her appearance on The Wendy Williams Show that she was genuinely excited to walk down the aisle again, but life and family had gotten in the way. According to Toni, she and Birdman had actually tried to set a date twice, only to have things fall apart each time. Between her health concerns, career obligations, and the constant swirl of family drama surrounding Braxton family values, it became nearly impossible to plan something as intimate and emotional as a wedding. Filming the show had put a strain on her family dynamics. Toni admitted that she'd hoped a wedding could be the thing to bring her sisters together, but instead, it seemed to do the opposite. "I thought bringing everyone together for the wedding would be a good idea," she explained, but it just made things worse. Her sisters' disagreements, the stress of the cameras, and the public attention all started bleeding into her relationship with Birdman. What was supposed to be a joyous occasion began to feel like another obligation, another weight on her already full shoulders. Birdman, meanwhile, appeared patient but eager. He had no problem waiting, but he also made it clear that he wanted to make things official. He affectionately called her by her middle name, Michelle, a gesture that reflected how personal and genuine their connection was. To him, she wasn't just Toni Braxton, the global superstar. She was Michelle, the woman he adored privately, without the fame, the cameras, or the expectations. He encouraged her to pick a date, nudging her lovingly to make the commitment happen. But somehow, despite all the planning and the emotion behind it, the big day kept getting pushed back until it eventually disappeared from their conversations altogether. Then, just when fans were beginning to wonder what was really going on between them, the story took a bizarre turn. Toni revealed that she had lost her $1 million engagement ring, a symbol of their love and commitment, after accidentally leaving it in her luggage during a flight. The claim drew immediate skepticism from the public. How could someone misplace such a valuable piece of jewelry? Some fans believed her, sympathizing with how stressful constant travel and health struggles could be. Others raised their eyebrows, convinced there was more to the story than she was letting on. Losing a ring of that value wasn't just unfortunate. It felt symbolic, like a sign that the fairy tale was beginning to crumble. And sure enough, not long after the mysterious disappearance of the ring, Toni and Birdman announced that they were parting ways. The news sent shockwaves through both the R&B and hip-hop communities. People had rooted for them, not just because they were famous, but because their love had seemed so authentic, so unexpected, so different from the usual Hollywood pairings. Yet here they were, calling it quits before even making it down the aisle. The breakup instantly ignited speculation that perhaps the two had secretly married and were now quietly divorcing. Rumors spread fast, and with both stars known for keeping their personal lives private, the lack of clarity only fueled the fire. But Toni moved quickly to shut those rumors down. In her usual calm and measured tone, she confirmed that there had been no secret wedding, no quiet divorce, just a relationship that had run its course. Still, her actions spoke louder than words. Shortly after confirming the split, Toni posted a stunning photo of herself wearing a striking red dress. The image was bold and symbolic, the kind of picture that said, "I'm still here, and I'm still standing. But what really caught everyone's attention was the caption beneath it. Starting a new chapter isn't always an easy choice, but always choose to be chosen. Fans immediately interpreted it as more than just a generic post. It felt personal, like a message filled with quiet reflection and hard-earned wisdom. The caption hinted at the emotional weight behind her decision, suggesting that despite everything, Toni had chosen herself, her peace, her health, her happiness. It was subtle but undeniably powerful. After years of heartbreak, health battles, and public scrutiny, here she was once again rising with dignity and grace. The post became a statement of strength, not bitterness. It reminded everyone why Toni Braxton remains one of the most respected and admired figures in entertainment, because even in the midst of chaos, she carries herself with resilience, elegance, and authenticity. For fans who had followed Toni Braxton's journey from the very beginning, her message was crystal clear. Love may fade, but self-respect endures. And while Birdman may have once been her soldier and everything, Toni was determined to reclaim her narrative, this time, entirely on her own terms. Her resilience, grace, and ability to rise above public chaos have always defined her, and this chapter proved no different. But behind the composed smiles and polite statements, their breakup was far from the calm, mutual decision it appeared to be. Though Toni and Birdman attempted to present their separation as amicable, insiders quickly began to suggest otherwise. Rumors surfaced claiming Toni wasn't the only woman in Birdman's life. Long before she entered the picture, Birdman had allegedly been involved with Kimora Lee, and according to several sources, their connection didn't simply fade when Toni came along. The whispers grew louder when it was revealed that Birdman continued to fund Kimora's lavish lifestyle, even praising her publicly as the love of his life and expressing gratitude for everything she had done for him. Meanwhile, Toni, the woman he was supposedly planning to marry, was described as his family and his soldier. To many, that wording was telling, painting a confusing and uncomfortable picture of where everyone truly stood. That dynamic reportedly began on their relationship. Even when Toni and Birdman briefly reunited on stage during one of her shows in Atlanta, rumors claimed Kimora was still hovering in the background, maintaining a quiet but undeniable influence over him. Allegedly, Kimora preferred to keep their bond discreet, believing Birdman's tough, tattooed persona didn't align with the polished image she upheld in the fashion industry. Yet despite this tangled web, Toni and Birdman eventually decided to go through with wedding plans, but, as fate would have it, the drama only escalated. On what was supposed to be their wedding day, Birdman reportedly arrived late and then left early, claiming he had to help someone, that someone allegedly being Kimora. He didn't even apologize to Toni for walking out on their own ceremony. For many fans, it was painful to see a legend like Toni caught up in such turmoil. Still, she handled it with the dignity she's known for. Toni quietly protected her finances, ensured her stability, and ultimately filed for divorce. Using only their initials, TB and BW, the couple cited their marriage as irretrievably broken. Since then, both have kept the details sealed, but the silence speaks volumes. Neither wears their wedding rings anymore, and both have wiped all traces of each other from social media. Naturally, the internet erupted with shock and disbelief, though most agreed on one thing. Toni Braxton walked away with her pride, her peace, and, reportedly, a very generous settlement. In the end, Toni Braxton reportedly walked away from her whirlwind marriage with a pretty substantial paycheck, though the entire situation left fans both shocked and confused. For many, the union between Toni Braxton and Birdman will forever stand as one of the most unexpected relationships in modern entertainment. It wasn't just a headline, it was a cultural moment that had everyone talking. How did the sultry, graceful, and world-renowned R&B legend end up tying the knot with one of hip-hop's most infamous moguls, only for it all to collapse just days later? The pairing was so unlikely that even people who don't usually keep up with celebrity gossip found themselves scrolling through timelines, trying to make sense of it all. When word first broke about Toni and Birdman's connection, fans didn't quite know what to think. Here was Toni Braxton, the woman whose voice had soundtracked countless heartbreaks and love stories, whose elegance defined a generation, suddenly linked to Birdman, a man whose persona revolved around the gritty world of rap, business deals, and diamond-studded swagger. The contrast between them was impossible to ignore. She was timeless, refined, and soulful. He was brash, tattooed, and built for the hustle. On paper, they couldn't have been more different. And yet, for a while, it seemed that those differences somehow balanced each other out. Still, from the start, their relationship never stopped being a mystery. It existed in this strange space between the private and the public. Fans would catch glimpses of their affection, a shared look here, a social media post there, but most of the time, both Toni and Birdman kept things tight-lipped. Maybe that was part of the intrigue. People love a good love story, especially one that feels a little forbidden, a little unpredictable. But as quickly as it began, the fairy tale started unraveling. By the time news of their divorce broke, it was almost too surreal to believe. Toni Braxton filing for divorce just 2 weeks after saying "I do" sounded like something out of a scripted reality show rather than real life. The internet, of course, went wild. Memes flooded social media, gossip pages lit up, and fans started playing detective, trying to uncover what could have gone so wrong so fast. Some joked about Toni's get the bag and bounce move, while others defended her fiercely, arguing that she deserved better and had finally chosen herself over chaos. Yet beneath all the humor and speculation, there was a shared sense of disbelief. Many couldn't reconcile the image of Toni Braxton, polished, poised, and deeply private, with the drama that now surrounded her name. It wasn't just about a failed marriage, it was about how something that seemed so out of character for her could happen in the first place. After all, Toni wasn't new to the spotlight or the ups and downs of fame. She had weathered industry pressures, health battles, financial troubles, and family drama. But this was something entirely different. Birdman, for his part, didn't make the situation any clearer. True to form, he kept things vague, avoiding any direct statements about what went wrong. Those who followed his career weren't surprised. Birdman has always been a man of few words when it comes to personal matters. But his silence only added fuel to the fire. Fans wanted answers. They wanted closure. They wanted to understand how something that started with so much affection and public admiration could fall apart almost overnight. Even after their split, whispers about the two of them continued to swirl. Some claimed they were still in contact, quietly maintaining a friendship behind the scenes. Others were convinced that Toni had cut ties completely and moved on with her life. The truth, as always, remains somewhere in the middle, wrapped in the same secrecy that defined their entire relationship. Both of them have stayed mostly quiet about the divorce, preferring to let people speculate rather than set the record straight. Still, one thing is undeniable. Toni walked away on her own terms. Whatever pain or disappointment she endured, she didn't let it break her spirit. Instead, she used the moment to reinvent herself once again. Her social media presence shifted, elegant, calm, and focused, as if to remind the world that she was still that same powerhouse who had been through worse and come out stronger. Fans noticed the change too. That red dress photo she posted after the breakup, captioned "Starting a new chapter isn't always an easy choice, but always choose to be chosen," became a moment of empowerment. It wasn't just about heartbreak, it was about self-worth, about choosing peace over pretense. In many ways, Toni's relationship with Birdman became a lesson in perception versus reality. What people see on stage or online rarely captures the full picture of what's happening behind the scenes. Love stories, even between legends, are messy, complicated, and sometimes short-lived. Maybe it wasn't the fairy tale fans hoped for, but it was human. And for Toni, that experience, no matter how chaotic, may have taught her something valuable about love, loyalty, and letting go. As for Birdman, he continues to move through life much the same way he always has, surrounded by wealth, mystique, and controversy. Whether he regrets losing Toni or not is something only he knows. But from the outside looking in, it's clear that Toni Braxton has reclaimed her peace, her confidence, and her narrative. And so, the Toni and Birdman saga remains one of those pop culture stories that refuses to fade away, a mix of romance, rumor, and reality that still sparks debate every time someone mentions their names. Was it love? Was it convenience? Was it just bad timing? Everyone has their theory, and the truth might never be fully known. But one thing's for sure, it was unforgettable. So what do you think about Toni Braxton and Birdman's whirlwind love story? Was it doomed from the start, or just another example of how complicated love can be in the spotlight? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned, because if there's one thing we've learned from this saga, it's that the world of celebrity romance never runs out of surprises.